Modern federal and defense mission architectures run on interconnected networks that can collapse rapidly under extreme adversarial pressure. Operating a multi-domain environment where satellites, tactical radios, cloud enclaves, and autonomous platforms interact is a continuous, high-dimensional control problem. Every node is constantly shifting in capacity, priority, and trust. Standard network protocols handle this complexity by ignoring most of it. They compress the reality of a dynamic connection into isolated security alerts or a single scalar metric, like a ping or basic link cost. When an adversary intentionally introduces jamming, cyber compromise, or deception, those flat scalar metrics fail entirely. They cannot predict the cascading infrastructure failures that follow a targeted attack. This creates a critical dilemma for modern command systems. Human operators cannot analyze thousands of telemetry vectors fast enough to reroute data mid-attack. Yet, handing unconstrained authority to an AI to manage the network risks catastrophic policy and reachability violations. Achieving a true decision advantage without reckless autonomy requires abandoning these reactive, rules-based protocols. Network routing needs a new mathematical foundation. That foundation is a system combining a Predictive Tensor Control Plane, or PTCP, with a Tensor-Network Quantum Gravity audit layer, known as TNQG. This functions as a mission assurance overlay that runs on current routing and telemetry substrates. Instead of relying on static routing tables, PTCP treats the entire operational state of the network as a highly detailed tensorized probability distribution. It captures the joint behavior of every device simultaneously. It uses this data to forecast future network states, optimizing its pathing decisions to strictly penalize rare, catastrophic tail risks rather than simply optimizing for average efficiency. This translates cybersecurity, identity posture, and network routing into a single predictive mathematical geometry. Conventional routing tracks a single metric between 2 points. PTCP replaces this by simultaneously measuring bandwidth, device health, and zero-trust posture. Multiplying these variables creates a massive probability tensor impossible to compute directly. Tensor train cores mathematically compress this grid into tractable representations. This compression reduces the storage footprint from an exponential requirement down to a manageable size, while maintaining joint pattern-of-life behavior. Compressing massive, multidimensional operational state without losing its nuance is the prerequisite for deploying predictive AI in a live environment. PTCP translates this tensor state into a physical mission geometry, projecting data vectors into predicted edge lengths. A stable, verified connection becomes geometrically short. Conversely, a link experiencing congestion or identity anomalies physically stretches out, signaling an undesirable path. PTCP navigates this shifting topology using conditional value at risk, or CVAR. Instead of seeking the average cheapest route, CVAR explicitly penalizes the upper tail of the probability curve. An autonomous agent will reject a fast path with a low probability vulnerability for a secure alternative. CVAR ensures that autonomous routing prioritizes ultimate mission survival and reliability over theoretical maximum throughput. Cybersecurity incidents function as topology-native defects, physically altering the network shape. An active compromise creates a geometric deformation, naturally forcing automated traffic to curve away from the compromised zone. But an AI processing these geometric shifts introduces severe risk. It could attempt unconstrained route changes that inadvertently knock allied systems offline. PTCP counters this using a mathematical projection filter called bounded actuation. This barrier separates the AI's intelligence from execution authority. Before reaching the real network, proposed actions must preserve system reachability, comply with security policy, and fit within strict capacity limits. Prediction algorithms will make errors. Bounded actuation ensures those errors remain contained and cannot bypass the safety filter, rendering the AI safe for operational deployment. Even with strict actuation boundaries, the system requires an independent auditing mechanism to verify the AI's inferred mission geometry has not drifted from actual reality. TNQG serves as an operational reconstruction vocabulary, comparing predicted AI geometry against the ground truth physical network. By running continuous residual tests, TNQG checks structural alignment. If residuals reveal a structural mismatch, indicating a hidden bottleneck, the system immediately flags the discrepancy. The response is automated and immediate. Actuation is withheld, autonomous control is halted, and the exact geometric mismatch is pushed to human operators for review. TNQG is the mathematical backstop against hidden model drift, against system hallucination, and active adversarial deception. This mathematical framework translates directly into high-stakes operational ecologies, where legacy static networks are already failing. Consider proliferated space networks in orbit. Satellites move, optical links reform, and ground stations constantly shift their availability. The Space Force can apply PTCP forecasting to evaluate orbital link geometry, choosing risk-aware routes to ensure critical missile warning data survives jamming or interference without dropping. The same logic applies outside the Department of Defense. Federal civilian agencies manage immense maritime transportation systems and localized operational technology grids. By applying tensor geometry to port sensors and cloud environments, operators can locate fragile cross-network vulnerabilities, structural weaknesses that static compliance checklists miss. Whether routing target data across shifting satellite constellations or securing a national power grid from cascading failure, the core mathematics of resilience remain identical. Federal acquisition policy dictates that no agency will grant unconstrained zero-day authority to a novel AI control substrate. Integration requires a disciplined four-stage deployment. It begins with shadow reconstruction, where the system tests predictive geometry against observed outcomes without executing any real-world changes. Once accuracy is proven, it graduates to advisory control. The AI produces active risk explanations and defect scores, delivering them to human cyber defenders to guide manual interventions. The third stage is bounded actuation. The system is permitted to execute physical changes, but only with strict limits, adjusting route preferences or suggesting microsegmentations that preserve fail-safe constraints. Full mission-integrated control is achieved only after extensive red team validation, formal authority to operate, and a track record of measurable improvement against mission thread stall baselines. PTCP and TNQG move critical infrastructure out of an era of reactive, manual triage. By defining network health as a predictive geometry bounded by safety constraints, it provides a governed engine operating at the